I just want you to know, Cat. It's impersonal! It kind of feels personal.
Hey, howdy, hey, first, second, third, fourth, whatever, Avengers. Wolfman 47 Dash here, and before I get started with today's review, I need to make a quick announcement. Firstly, so those of you wondering, Marvel Rivals is still coming. We're just me, Clank Zoka, and a few friends that want to join us are just trying to work out when's the best time to re-record what we had done previously, but do it again because of Burka's clip channel was being a bitch. So yeah, we're hoping we'll get to work on that very soon. And the reason why I'm bringing that up in this video is because it's a Marvel thing, so obviously it's related. So yeah, so hopefully that will happen soon, and then when it does happen, you'll also see some commission work I've been working on, in which I'm getting some logo videos for our respective usernames in Marvel Rivals, obviously tied to Marvel things. So yeah, it's a big project that we are working on, and we will get around to it eventually. But until then, you're just gonna have to stick with these videos that I'm doing instead. Okay, that aside, let's now talk about Captain America. So when it comes to talking about anything with the MCU, obviously the MCU is already big enough as it is. So making a big massive video to just talking about everything to do with the MCU is going to be a challenge in itself. So instead of doing that, I'm going to split it up, and I'm going to come back to it on occasion, either if a new film or series has been released, or it just feels necessary to just talk about it in general for whatever reason. So today we're going to talk about the Captain America films, which will be the 4 films and the spin-off series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So let's talk about it. So start kicking things off, we've got Captain America: The First Avenger, and keep in mind that even though most people would assume that their stories are sort of told in only these solo films, please remember that you do have to watch the films that the other films that they also star in order to sort of understand the stories and everything, because some people just assume that they just needed to watch a film and then the direct sequel and so forth. But no, not with the cinematic universe. No. So, Captain America: First Avenger. It's obviously set during war times, and you get Steve Rogers, who wants to take part in the war, but obviously can't because he's all skin and bones and everything. And honestly, the CGI just looks very dated and creepy looking. Ugh. So he has the super soldier serum that's delivered to him by Howard Stark, a young Howard Stark, and he becomes the super soldier known as Captain America, who is basically a sort of mascot, patriot, whatever, that helps all in the different wars. He develops an affection for Haley Atwell's character, who I've completely forgotten the name of, so I'm just going to call her Carter, Agent Carter, whatever. And yeah, he goes about it. He comes across Red Skull, defeats Red Skull, and yeah, you kind of know the story from there. It's pretty much the very first time we get to see an Infinity Stone, so the Tesseract in a scenario, and lots of things happen that all lead into Steve Rogers being brought to the present day, and all the other stuff happened as well. I honestly don't remember it all that well, other than it did have some creepy CGI for a Chris Evans being all skin and bones to begin with, which still didn't look right then and still doesn't look right now. But honestly, it's probably a hell of a lot better than the CGI we're getting in Marvel films at the moment. I don't know. Yeah, I leave you to draw that conclusion. But anyway, First Avenger gets a 8 out of 10 from me. So that's that one. So now we come to Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and keep in mind that at this point the events of Avengers Assemble will have happened. So do watch that before you watch this one if you want to keep track of his story. So in this film, Captain America has become best friends with Sam Wilson, the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, who together are just going on various missions and so forth for Shield, which itself has been compromised by Hydra agents, and as such, it means that Captain America, the Falcon, Nick Fury, Black Widow, and other various agents are on the run, meaning that things are sort of transpiring within Shield, and they have to try and find a way to stop that. But in the middle of it is this mysterious character called the Winter Soldier, who happens to be Bucky Barnes, Captain America's old friend from the war, who also happened to have been brought to the present day for some unknown reason, but has been programmed by Hydra for various means. So, so throughout the film, Captain America tries to fight Winter Soldier while the rest of his team, Falcon and Black Widow, set out to put an end to this conspiracy within Shield and bring an end to Hydra's reign of terror into them, which does kind of put Shield at odds with the government and other means as well. But ultimately, in the end, everybody's saved. Nick Fury Nick Fury is revealed to have died, but is technically not dead. He just goes into hiding for a while, and all manner of things happen as well. And for a film that's meant to be played out as a political thriller, I do kind of like it. And I like how they decide to bring in some new characters into this story. Obviously, we already know of Black Widow from previous films, but Falcon we didn't know of, and it's kind of nice to see Falcon make his debut in this film, and played very well by Anthony Mackie, who I hear is a Marvel fan anyway and really wanted to be part of the franchise. So good on him. Is it my favorite? If it's my favorite film, it's certainly an improvement in terms of action, CGI, and everything from the previous Cap film, but it's still not my favorite one. My favorite one's the next one, which we'll talk about in a moment. So I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10, because it's better, but only by a little bit. So, Civil War. We all knew it would eventually that some of these MCU films would lead into major events from the comics, and obviously Civil War is one of those events. Now, I have done a video previously on talking about the Civil War thing itself, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but basically, see Avengers Age of Ultron, because that has a major part in this story. And basically, it doesn't really feel like a Captain America film. It feels more like an Avengers film minus two major Avengers characters. But anyway, in the story, Captain America leads a team of Avengers into a mission that kind of ends in disaster, kind of sort of, which leads into the Sokovia Accords becoming a thing, which leads to Thunderbolt Ross putting the Avengers at odds with one another, with Tony Stark and Powers being sort of thinking that they should take accountability for their actions, with Captain America not really being in agreement with that. And then we kind of get more of a background with Winter Soldier, who in this film is cast in a more favourable way. Like, we kind of see him be more of a tragic character that has had programming inside him to make him do all these horrible things, including spoiler alert, killing off Tony Stark's parents. So yeah, it's an interesting film, and it's definitely one that the people behind it worked really hard to sort of not be sort of critiqued like many other Marvel films. And I'll be honest, it was difficult to find anything wrong about this film, because it plays it really, really well. It plays the scenario well, introduces characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man really well. I know Black Panther and Spider-Man are only really in it to advertise their own films, but it's nice to sort of see how they're kind of connected to the Civil War, as well as Ant-Man as well, of course. So I'm going to give this one 9 out of 10, because I really do enjoy it. And I think it is the strongest of the Captain America films that we've had, like, all throughout, and yeah, it's really good. So, 2 Avengers films, then we come to The Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, this is obviously a spin-off to the Captain America films, featuring his 2 best buddies, Falcon and Winter Soldier, who are both coming to terms with what happened after the blip was reversed, in which Captain America himself, the original Captain America, Steve Rogers, has retired and has passed the shield on to Falcon, who is coming to terms with that, and he's not really sure if he feels like he really wants to do it. Whereas the Winter Soldier's kind of coming to terms with with still having some Hydra programming inside him, but is definitely working hard into trying to kind of mapping. I'll be honest, I don't really remember much from this miniseries other than it existed. It had a reason to exist. It was meant to sort of see Falcon gradually become the new Captain America, which he does eventually become the new Captain America. And because I don't really remember too much from it, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because as a miniseries, it probably would have worked better had it not be too familiar with the films. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Bringing us on to the latest and currently final Captain America film. And at this point, I think it's okay if you miss a few Marvel films because there's not really many. There hasn't been really many team up films since the last Avengers film, so I think you can skip a few of these. But anyway, now we come to Captain America: Brave New World. So in this one, there's a lot that's happening. Falcon has become the new Captain America. There's a new Falcon in the ring. Um, Harrison Ford is now Thunderbolt Ross instead of William Hurt, who's sadly passed away. May he rest in peace. And in the film, we do get a lot of things going on. There's obviously it's a political thriller once again, in which the events of Eternals happened, and the president of the United States, which is now Thunderbolt Ross, is trying to sort of form a treaty in which all the United Nations are able to sort of get access to the materials that are on the Celestial Islands that has appeared during the Eternal films, I should say. and in it, things do happen, and eventually it does lead into a couple of characters from the Incredible Hulk film returning in the form of one character that was sort of hinted at becoming a major villain later on, and we obviously do get him returning in this film. And obviously, as you've seen in the trailers, there's no point in me spoiling it for you because you've all seen the trailers. Harrison Ford does eventually become the Red Hulk, and it's pretty much as you'd expect it to be. It does. The film does do a very hard in building up to it, but the problem is when you got Disney, a major company that really wants people to be on this to go and be on their seats, you are going to have problems with the trailers because when a trailer reveals too much, it does make people not really want to review it fondly. And I'll be honest, I did know that Red Hulk was going to appear in this film. And to be honest, I kind of wish he didn't. Like, I wish he would appear in earlier films, and because in this film, yeah, okay, it does build up to it very well, but we already knew that Red Hulk would appear in it, and obviously the whole film makes out that Thunderbolt Ross is the main antagonist because he was the one that used this villain from the Incredible Hulk for personal gain, and it was because of that villain in question that made him become the Red Hulk in the first place. So yeah, it's pretty much an Incredible Hulk film without Incredible Hulk, but just Captain America instead. Um, it's not a perfect film. It's probably a very generic film for a lot of people, but at least it did do. At least it was better than I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought it was going to be playing out like every other Marvel film out there, and I know a lot of you are not gonna be in total agreement with me on that, but it does pretty much do as the best it could with what it has. But it's ultimately not the best MCU film out there. But they certainly did try with this one. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because I just don't know what else to say about it other than it's just one of those times where trailers should have just not revealed too much. So, yeah. Okay, so that's what I think about the Captain America films and TV shows and anything else that came with it. Obviously, because it's part of a cinematic universe, there are obviously other stories featuring Captain America that you will need to watch in order to understand his story. Because you got to remember when you have cinematic universes, it doesn't just include this one series of films. There are others, obviously other series of films are in this universe. So you got the Iron Man films, you got the Thor films, the One Incredible Hulk film, the Spider-Man films, the Guardians of the Galaxy films, the Avengers films, and all the other films. So yeah, remember to watch all the films if you want to understand things that have been going on. Because for Brave New World, you definitely need to have seen the Eternals film, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, um, and obviously the Incredible Hulk film in this case. So yeah, and that's all I've got to say on that. Love to know what you think about the Captain America film. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos, which I upload on a regular basis. I do vlogs like this where I talk about various different topics, including films and so forth. I also do gameplay videos where it's straight up gameplay, with some memes, but otherwise nothing else, just straight up gameplay. Let's play videos where it's gameplay and you hear my voice, sometimes with my camera on or off. I also do random shorts as well, and other things too. Like, share, comment, and hit the bell if you are subscribed to be notified of my latest content. See you in the next one. Peace to you all. And if you find yourself becoming the mascot of a country or whatever, remember, don't let government bodies tell you what you can and can't do. You are allowed to do whatever you want to do, and if you feel like you can't commit to being a mascot of a country, or you just are not in complete agreement with the government, with what the government wants to do, you have every right to have free speech. You have every right to rebel against them. So yeah, just remember that. So yeah, all right, toodles.